So today is not going the way it was supposed to go at all. So we just got back from vacation over Christmas and came home. Had noticed that one of our shoe shelves, like they have little poles at the very bottom, like super tiny white poles, that it looked like one had just buckled out. I came downstairs this morning. I need to photograph items. I need to like sprint and do a ton more for the weekend. So I'm coming downstairs, getting ready to do what I need to do for photographing. And this is what my photography room looks like. So you can see down here, this was the problem that we came home to. We'd noticed that that had buckled out right there. These racks have been absolutely amazing. We've had the shoes on these shoe racks for like over a year. They have never had an issue like this before, but we have like rubber band each one of the shoe racks to each other because one hadn't been fixed for so long. The domino effect happened and I have such a mess to clean up. I just sent a 911 call to my husband and said, you've got to get home now. So I'm just gonna breathe. It is New Year's Eve, and we're just gonna chalk this up to being like an organizational thing for 2022 because that's all I can think about right now. In the meantime, I have this rack right here. So I'm gonna work on steaming stuff and like I said, try to breathe. I want to showcase some of the items that sold this weekend because I felt like we had some really great sales even when we were on vacations. You can also enjoy a video of hopefully some good success and not more turmoil. We're hoping for a good thing. Hopefully that room's going to be clean today.
Unplug that till we can unbury the cord.
And we can figure out if it's alive. Set it there. So here's how the room looks now. We've cleared the majority of this area. Unfortunately, since we lost so many shelves, we do have shoes still down here. We're figuring out what to do about that. And then over here, we have the clothing rack back in, and here is the shoe rack over there. So previously we had 4 that went across, but now you could tell my husband actually made some of them a little larger. So like that kind of drops down right there, but these shelves are a little more upward. So we were able to kind of consolidate, but the beautiful thing was we actually moved this over here, and Jeff and I were both just talking about this. It actually gives a lot more space to this room. Like the area down here, we don't have this kind of in an awkward space. He can move around. He could actually be working there and bagging items as I'm photographing them right here. So we feel like this is actually going to be for the better. We do still need to figure out what we're going to do as far as the fact that we lost some shoe shelves. And we still have a lot of shoes that are unlisted. So there's definitely a lot of stuff that we're going to need to take care of, but I definitely feel a lot better. I'm actually going to go start photographing items so I can begin listing, But right now, I wanted to sit you guys over here and talk about some of the sales that we had this weekend. All right, guys, let's talk about some of my favorite items that sold over the holiday weekend. The first one, we're going to start with Poshmark, and it was my North Face long coat. You guys, if you saw my video of my ThredUp unboxing, if not, I'm going to link it right here, but I loved this coat and I wanted to keep it myself, but I finally came to terms with the reality that I have a lot of coats and I really don't need another. And funny enough, when I was actually listing this item last week, I thought that I was going to get much less for it because the comps on eBay were definitely a lot lower than I expected. Since it wasn't like a fun print of North Face, it was just like a standard black. In my opinion, I felt like that was going to make it better, and it certainly did. On Poshmark, it ended up selling for $63, and to be honest, I priced it upward because I was hoping that it wasn't going to sell, but regardless, it sold. The next item is sold is something that I actually had a lot from this brand sell over the weekend, and I kind of want your guys' thoughts on this brand. It was these Theory cream trouser pants. These were a size 2, and they sold for $45. To be honest, you guys, I have been so hit and miss with Theory lately, and then over one weekend, we had 3 items sell from this brand. This brand hasn't been selling for us a lot, and when it does, it generally is more like a bread and butter. It doesn't sell for a whole lot. You'll see that later, but this selling for $45, and then we had another item that sold for over $40. It's kind of given me hope again. I'm wondering, are there specific categories in this brand that sell much better for you? Is this just a brand that you are skipping on altogether? Please let me know in the comments below because I'm super curious. The other item that sold, if you watched my Karina thrift with me, you saw this item in that video. It was this Lululemon asymmetric zipped jacket. I actually found this at the outlet, so when I got an offer for $40, I definitely jumped on that. Not only did it sell for a great amount, but I think I had it up for less than 2 weeks. So it was a quick flip, and I was able to get a really great return on investment. Next, we have a tried and true this time of year. It was a Columbia Sportswear snow pants. This item actually had a damaged, it had a hole on the back, which my husband patched, and we ended up disclosing that in the listing. They, I think, originally were listed for like $50, and I got this offer for $30, and I just decided to accept it because of the damage that was to this item. Next was another quick flip. This was the LL Bean suede coat that I actually showcased in my coat haul recently, where I taught you guys how to properly clean your coats, your snow gear, and all of those things, as well as all of the items that we were going to be listing. I probably didn't have this up for more than like 5 days. It was a really quick flip. This sold for $30. I don't remember if I said that already. Next is this pair of Monroe shoes. I've actually never sold this brand before. This was a new to me brand. It sold for $38. If I'm not mistaken, this came out of a ThredUp shoe box, and it was like one of my least favorite things that I got out of this box, if that tells you anything about this box. It was really amazing in my opinion, and the fact that these were 7.5s and they sold for $38 was really, really exciting. Okay, so like I mentioned, we had another Theory item that sold for $40. This was a wool blend blazer. So we had the amazing trouser pants as well as the blazer that sold. You'll see on eBay the other item that sold soon, but I'm like, okay, well, I guess this still calls for a fair amount. This was a size 2 as well. So I'm so torn with Theory. Once again, another item that sold from that haul that I did from going shopping with Karina. These were quick silver snowboard pants. Again, a very not surprised that it sold so fast, as well as for the price it did. These sold for $32, and I did pay up for these at Plato's. These were $10, but I had a feeling that they were going to sell quick. We also had a Title IX dress that sold, and as I kind of mentioned before, if you haven't heard about it before, I feel like athletic dresses do fairly well, and I imagine that they're still going to probably do well moving into January, and this sold for $31. Last time I was in Portland, there was a new rack that was coming out at Goodwill, and I believe I found 3 of these Title IX dresses, and so I picked up every single one of them. Again, since I was in Portland, I think they were like $7.99 or $8.99, but for $31, it was definitely worth it. Next, we have a pair of Mountain Profile blue snowshoes. These were actually youth sizing, but they were still really big. They sold for $25, and so I was really happy that they sold on Poshmark because we have that 5-pound maximum. So we were able to have a large enough box to fit these in, and they didn't go over 5 pounds. Next, we had a cabbie coat that sold. This was like a pea coat, more of a shorter one, not necessarily a long one. I believe this one was also a wool blend. It sold for $28. I probably could have like accepted a higher or like countered, but I'm really trying to get into the mindset over the course of like this next quarter. This is one of the big goals that I have for 2022. It's just being willing to accept offers. I am not in the business of storing clothing. I am in the business of selling clothing. And so even though I could potentially hold out for another $5 or $10, is it worth it to me, or do I really want that cash in my pocket so I can go buy new inventory? And it's most certainly the secondary. All right, so let's head over to eBay. One of my favorite orders that just recently went out was this Solomon purple jacket. This was again a snow coat that I just showcased in my coat haul. It sold for $67.48. I'm going to give you the price not including shipping, but just know with every item that I'm showcasing, they did have shipping as well. Next item was these pair of Merrells. I really liked these. These were black, long, riding boot style. They were 7.5. So I'm really surprised. We sold a lot of 7.5s over the weekend, and this one sold for $65. Next, we had a Mountain Hardwear coat that sold. You guessed it. It was just right out of that coat haul, as well as, I'm going to jump down, we had a white Sierra, that brown coat that had like a orange fleece lining inside. The Mountain Hardwear one sold for $30, and then the white Sierra sold for $29.97. So both of those were winners. And actually, now that I'm looking at my list, I'm realizing the next item, it was also in that coat haul. Guys, if you're sleeping on coats, if you have the space for coats, I encourage you to purchase coats. This item was a Columbia blue quilted. This was a longer coat, which I'm such a fan of, especially if you're like cold and you need to like sit down on a cold seat. I love having a coat that just kind of like covers my bottom area because I get cold very easily. This one sold for $62.97. And this next one was one that my husband picked up when he was doing fire this summer. It was this Low Pro camera backpack all-weathered padded travel bag. So inside of this bag, it actually had not styrofoam, but just like padding in certain areas, like you could put your camera in and different lenses and equipment and stuff like that. So this sold for $60, and yet again, this was a really quick flip. Even though he purchased it through fire season, he hasn't been home for more than like a month at this point. So he's been slowly but surely listing the items that he picked up while he was on fire. So this one wasn't up for probably more than a couple weeks, to be honest. I'm going to talk about this one because I've already referenced it so much already. It is this Theory sleeveless black wool like cardigan. It had some like fur right at the collar, and this one sold for $20. And I believe this was the first item that sold for Theory over the weekend. And I just accepted the offer because I'm like, we have so much Theory and I want to get rid of these items. And then it was like right after that, we had the trickle effect of the other items that sold. I'm not mad at this sale, but I'm so torn on what I want to do with Theory moving forward. Next item that sold was a red youth snowshoes. So we had the blue ones that sold on Poshmark, and then we had the red ones a couple days sell on eBay. I ended up accepting $22.50 only because even though the other one sold for $25, I didn't feel like it was right to counter with like $3 or $2.50 more. I just was willing to accept it. After having this item kind of being stored for a long time and being unlisted, I was just ready for those to move out so we had space for other inventory to come in. I'm actually going to talk about this one simply because this was also in that coat haul. It was the Patagonia boys puffer jacket. So this one I was so back and forth with honestly listing because you could definitely see some discoloration on the front of the coat. But even my husband was like, it's gonna sell. It's Patagonia. Just list it and disclose how it looks. And sure enough, this one sold for $25. I did accept a lower offer simply because of the condition that it was in, and we haven't gotten a return. So, I mean, fingers crossed, hopefully it stays that way. I really hope that you enjoyed this video. If you've made it this far, guys, I just ask that you hit the subscribe button. I do know that there are a lot of you guys that watch my videos and enjoy my content, but just simply search me and don't actually subscribe to my channel. If you subscribe to my channel, you will get in the subscription area of your YouTube channel anytime one of my videos gets uploaded. So you'll know firsthand, never miss a video. And I have so many great videos coming out in the beginning of 2022. We're also going to recap on how 2021 went, some amazing sales that we had over the year, and then also goal setting for the following year. So if that is something that could be inspiring to you, encouraging, and I can just be a part of your journey to give you tips and tricks on the items that I am getting, hit that subscribe, and I'm going to see you guys hopefully in my next video. Bye.